dealing with feeling uncomfortable playing volleyball on my period for 10 years plus. So I just want to help you guys. Like, I want you all to get some knowledge so you really know what's up and how to not feel like how I did. Here are my tips, tricks, and examples of things that you can do to prevent feeling weird and self-conscious about being on your period while playing volleyball, because it's natural, it happens to everyone. So yeah. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's Jacoby. I'm out of breath because I just walked up the stairs. Also, if you haven't noticed, I talk really fast, so I'm gonna try to slow it down and, you know, just get my point across. So today we will be talking about, you guessed it, periods. Love her, love when she comes. It's hard playing volleyball on your period. I can attest to that. I have a lot of personal stories that I will be sharing with you today, but before we dive into that, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I post volleyball stuff on here, and then I also have a second channel named Jacoby, where I post vlogs, just me living my life, you know. And then I also have a podcast, Secondhand Embarrassment, where I just talk about stuff, lifestyle, influencer stuff, all that jazz. So if you want to check that out, you can. It's on Spotify. Ow, rude. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, but everything you need to know is in the description, the links, everything like that, to my merch, all that jazz, it's there. All right guys, let's talk about vaginas. Let's talk about periods. I have my notes written down so I can give you all the real tea of how I play volleyball on my period and how you can too. It doesn't have to be awkward. It doesn't have to be the most mortifying moment of your life. It can be very simple, and I'm gonna tell you how. All right, so first I'm gonna start with my very, very embarrassing stories surrounding my period. So, and if you think this video is gross or TMI, I don't know what to tell you. Click off. I don't know. Because I mean, periods are just a part of life. So it's like, why would I be like, oh my God, like I'm on my period. What? Like I'm on my period. It's not that big of a deal. I think the first time, okay, my period stories are so embarrassing. Like bleeding through, that's happened to a lot of people. That's happened to me multiple times, and every single time I thought my life was over. I was like, I have to drop out of high school. I had to transfer. I can never show my face here again. It was awful. Now, or it would just be like the feeling of ruining like your favorite pants or your shorts. And I'm just like, I can never get that stain out. So it's just very traumatic. But then I learned some tips and tricks and fix-ups along the way that made my period a lot easier, but also because I was on birth control, but then I got off of that, so now my periods are just normal and like heavy again. So my personal story regarding volleyball and periods. So I was like, when I'm playing on my period, I honestly feel so like, I feel like everyone's looking at my butt. Yeah. And like in a way where it's like, can people see my pad, or like can people like tell that I'm on my period, or like can people see my panty line? Like it's just, I just think about, I'm just so conscious of how I'm moving and how I'm diving and how I'm doing things that I almost play worse because I'm like not moving how I should, and I'm just like stopping myself because I don't want to like feel weird or like feel my like, or like feel my pad shift or like feel like I'm bleeding, and it's just, I hate it. I hate that feeling. So what I used to do, like sometimes I would wear multiple pairs of spandex. I would wear like a pad, and I was like, okay, like you're gonna be fine. But then like my underwear lines was just really bothering me, so it's just a whole mess. All right. So first we're gonna talk about pads versus tampons. Personally, okay, when I'm not playing volleyball, I am a pads kind of girl. Now I know some people don't like pads, some people don't like tampons, or a menstrual cup, or menstrual underwear, or whatever. But personally, I like pads. They're very easy for me, comfortable. You just, you know, change them out when you need to, and that's it. And then there's like different pads for different flows, like a heavy flow or a medium flow or a light flow. You know, it really, there's something for everyone. I feel there's extra long, there's normal, there's wings, there's no wings, there's scented, there's no non-scented. It's honestly just a modge podge of pads. But what works best for me, if I were to play volleyball in a pad, first of all, you always want one with the flexi wings. I don't know why I'm making that shape with my hands, but you want the one with the wings. You don't want the ones that are just like Okay, I'm gonna use this DS as an example. You don't want one that's just like flat like this. You want one that has wings right there and there. And and those will clamp on your underwear so your pad won't move around as much and you're like locked in place. But if you're wearing a pad with no wings, it might slide around, it might miss your flow, and then your blood will just be everywhere. So we don't want that. So make sure you get a pad with wings. Now, scented versus non-scented. Personally, I think that scented is not the way to go because I feel like that could irritate your vagina. It could irritate you, and also I don't know if the smell of like floral and blood, I don't know if that mixes, to be honest. So I would go with non-scented pads if you're doing that. Definitely go for non-scented. And also, like, who wants a scented pad? I don't know. I personally, obviously you can tell I don't use scented pads, but like non-scented is the way to go, and also it will spare you any kind of irritation that you may or may not feel. Also, if you're playing volleyball with a scented pad on, you're sweating, you're bleeding, and it's a floral scent. Like, that's not gonna smell good. So I would stay away. Stay away. And also when you're playing volleyball, like, you could be chafing, there's friction, so just leaving that one out there. So I would not go for that one. Now for length, I hate saying that word, length. Ugh. I would definitely go for an extra long one. Okay, I take that back. For when you're playing, I would go for like either a regular one or just a longer one. Don't go for extra long just because if you don't want your pad to be visible, you don't want it to be super long to where it's like here's your booty, okay? There's like your butt crack right there. You don't want your pad like all the way up there because people can see that. If you're worried about that, if you're not, go off. But I am, so don't wear like an extra long pad. That's really not gonna vibe out very well. What I'm trying to say is that for me, I would want like the least visibility as possible. So I'm gonna wear like the smallest pad I can, but not a panty liner to where it has no kind of coverage and it doesn't absorb. Like, because a panty liner is a mistake. Do not wear those when you're playing, especially if you're on your period. Like, because usually I think your flow is the heaviest in the first couple of days. So don't wear, if you're on your first couple of days of your cycle, don't wear a panty liner while you're playing because you're gonna bleed through easily. But also, you know your body better than anyone else, so I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, hey, you need to wear a pad this time in this time. Like, no. It's really like being in tune with your body is really whatever, but this is just my personal suggestion. Now, what are the cons of wearing a pad while playing volleyball? They can shift around, like I said, and they just look bulky. Like, and also, you know, oh my god, you know how like people like pat people on the butt when they're playing volleyball? They're like, good job. Like, and what if someone hits your pad? Like, isn't that like the worst feeling? Like, that's happened to me a couple times and I'm like, please don't touch me. It's a struggle out here, but yeah, pads are okay. Now, that's what I used to do when I was younger, but I have upgraded to tampons. Now, I know people who hate tampons, I know people who swear by them. So really, I'm in the middle. I don't love them, but I don't hate them either. Like, for everyday purposes, if I was just chilling or I'm just in class or whatever, I'm wearing a pad because tampons are just a lot of work to me, and why? I don't know. But some people think they're just amazing and like they're comfortable, whatever, but for me, you know, not my thing. But wearing tampons while you're playing is actually fairly optimal just for me, just because one, you don't have to deal with panty lines, which is really half the battle for me. My panty lines make me feel so exposed. I'm just like, I hope no one's looking at my butt because I look weird. Like, I can't deal with it. So tampons are good for that. Tampons are also really good for absorption. So the tampons I like are the Playtex Sport ones. Like, everyone uses, every athlete one uses, whatever. Those are really good for absorption. They're also made for sports. So you're obviously in volleyball, you're gonna be moving around, cutting, diving, all that stuff, jumping. So you want something that has flexibility and like good absorption, and is also good at just staying in there because, oh hello UPS man, just good at staying in there because you don't want to have a slippage. You don't want to have a slip up, okay? And also the only thing you have to worry about that is outside of your body is the tampon string. So really a tampon is kind of a win-lose-win situation. So now the only, con of like a tampon is sometimes it's not comfortable, sometimes they don't fit, sometimes you have the wrong size, and you kind of have to experiment to find your size that works for you. Like there's like a super plus, there's regular absorption, and that is determined in like the size of the tampon. So sometimes it just won't fit and it'll be painful. Cannot lie, I've made that mistake before. I was like in 7th grade and I was like, I'm gonna use a tampon. Or 8th grade, 7th, I don't know when I got my period, no idea. Sometime in middle school, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna use a tampon when I'm playing, because I feel like I've been dealing with feeling uncomfortable playing volleyball on my period for 10 years plus. So I just want to help you guys. Like I want you all to get some knowledge so you really know what's up and how to not feel like how I did. I remember in like 7th or 8th grade, I was trying to use a tampon and I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be so much easier. No, I like didn't put the tampon all the way in, so it was just very painful, very awkward, and I played horrible that game because I could feel my tampon the entire time. Talk about a nightmare. It was awful. It was awful. I played terrible because I was just so self-conscious and I was uncomfortable. So really what I try to go for is comfortability and just being able to play like I normally would if I wasn't on my period. But I still think tampons are great because you can also wear any kind of underwear you want. But what is important is to make sure you get the right absorption, like I said earlier, because like one time I was wearing a tampon and I like bled through and I was like, but I have a tampon in, but it just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough absorption, so I got a different absorption. Sorry, there's people outside my window. I got a different absorption and I got like a bigger, like a super plus, super whatever. I have a heavy flow, okay? And I got like a super plus and then that worked for me. But I'm also really self-conscious, so sometimes I'll wear like a panty liner with my tampon when I'm playing, but you might want to get a panty liner that's designed for thongs, because that's what I wear when I play. It's a thong or nothing at all if I'm not on my period. But I hope that's not TMI, sorry. But yeah, you can find panty liners that are compatible with thongs. Like they're designed for the shape of a thong and they will work the same. I've personally never tried them, I've just seen them around. I think in the battle of pads versus tampons for volleyball, I'm gonna have to go tampons. I'm sorry ladies, if you feeling it differently, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. What time is it? 2 o'clock. What the hell? All right. Now we're gonna talk about spandex. Okay, so when you're on your period, you do not necessarily want to wear thin spandex, and that should be for obvious reasons. Obvious reasons being you will either show through, like if your spandex are kind of see-through, like I talked about this in my volleyball gear video I just posted I think a week ago, but my Nike Pro spandex, I find them to be too thin. I feel like they're very kind of see-through and I'm like, people might be able to see my my butt cheeks. Like I don't know, well you can kind of see my butt cheeks anyways. Anyways, but I just don't really like that. And then especially when you're on your period and say you're wearing a pad, a white pad, black spandex, sis, is not gonna work. So I just don't really recommend wearing thin spandex. But what I used to do, which is not for everybody, I acknowledge that, but I used to wear a pair of thin spandex and then I would put a thicker pair of spandex on top. So I was wearing 2 pairs of spandex, and that was mainly just to keep me sucked in, and it made me feel more secure, and also it kind of lessened my panty line more, so I felt less self-conscious. I was still feeling kind of awkward when people were like, good job, and like slapping me on the butt. I was like, stop. So it's complicated, I guess. If you want to wear 2, I know some people who just don't want to be like that constricted or wear 2 pairs of spandex, or they think it's overkill, but that's personally what I did just to make myself feel more comfortable. So that's a suggestion I have, is to wear 2 pairs of spandex, and then if you don't want to do that, just wear a thicker pair of spandex. If your spandex are pretty thick already and they're not very see-through, you should be fine. And if you don't care about underwear lines, you should be fine. It doesn't matter. But just for me, that's what I did, and it worked for me. Now we're gonna talk more about panty lines. So basically, panty lines are the devil. The only really underwear that I wear in volleyball is a thong and then like a bikini style, like a bikini cut underwear. I would highly recommend a thong, and if you're not allowed to wear thongs, bikini briefs are also your friend. And make sure, personally, I don't like playing volleyball in like cotton. Is that weird? I don't know. I don't like playing volleyball in cotton underwear, or like just really fabricy, like polyester, I think, kind of fabric. I prefer like sports materials, so like a Lyrica, stretchy spandex, kind of like silky kind of feel. I like those to play volleyball in, but that's my 2 cents on underwear, ladies. Go get them. Now we're gonna talk about my personal favorites for my period, and what I do for volleyball. Now sadly I don't have my sports tampons with me to show you guys, but I can try to insert a picture somewhere on this screen. But I really like those. They're by Playtex, like I said, and I think, how much are they? I don't know. I will put all the information on the screen around me, hopefully, but those are a really good choice for sports tampons. I'm sure there's other brands, but that's just the one I personally use. There's the Playtex Sport, and they're like in a pink box, and they have like a green girl that's like playing soccer or something on the front, so those are really nice. I really like those. Now, I like to keep some flushable wipes with me when I go play volleyball, or if I'm at a tournament. These are my best friends. Or if I'm traveling for volleyball or whatever, flushable wipes are great because, okay, personally, when I'm on my period, I feel like I'm just, like, there's just blood, like, just everywhere, and I feel like just kind of gross. So I like to clean up a little bit extra, like after I go to the restroom or whatever. I like to have these flushable wipes that will get some excess whatever that's still left on my skin, or blah 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 blah, whatever. But these flushable wipes, these are the Equate flushable wipes. They're hypoallergenic, they're flushable, fresh scent, made with 100% plant-based fibers, and they're biodegradable. Ooh! And these are comparable to Cottonelle, so I just like to cut costs wherever I can. So Equate is honestly my best friend. I love Equate, but that's a tangent I'll get into later. But yeah, these flushable wipes are really good, and these are like, what, $3, $4, $5 for like a 3-pack of these flushable wipes, and 48 wipes comes in 1 pack. So I think that's a pretty good deal. Now we're gonna talk about some pads that I use. Okay, so these pads I really enjoy. These are also, again, these are Equate. I love Equate brand, but these are the Equate Ultra Thin Extra Long Super with Flexi Wings, and these are skin fresh, breathable layers, up to 10 hours of leakage protection. And you probably can't see that, but there's a size chart right there, and it says they're cotton enhanced, and there's 28 pads. Oh, there's 28 pads in this package. So I personally really like these just because they are, like they say, they're ultra thin, so they're really good for playing in. Personally, if I were to play in pads again, I would definitely choose this one. Or Equate also has another one that's like in a yellow package, and I just think they're not extra long, but they're just regular ones, but they're still thin, and I really enjoy those. So choosing a thin pad is the way to go if you're gonna wear pads. And then lastly, I have these Always Maxi size 5 extra heavy overnight pads. Now these I would wear if I was really having like heavy bleeding, like maybe on my first or second, third day of my period. I would wear these when I was playing, but these are obviously extremely thick, but you can see how thick those are, and they're maxi and they're really super long. But if I needed the coverage, I would have to wear these, and sometimes that's just how it is. So yes, those are my period essentials, minus my tampons because I cannot find them because they're at my apartment, of course. But lastly, I just want to touch on just feeling like self-conscious when you're playing volleyball, because I know the uniform does not leave much to the imagination. So I just want to like make other people like, because I wish I would have had someone that was like, hey, it's okay to like have panty lines, or like this is what you should do if you're on your period and you're playing, or you're at a tournament. Like, I wish I had someone to tell me stuff, but this is just what I learned over the years, and I'm hoping to pass that knowledge along to you guys. I feel like like older sister that's like giving people like tips and tricks about just how to hack the system. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys on how to play volleyball on your period. If you have any more questions, let me know. You can always leave a comment. I respond to all my comments. Do me a favor and like this video. Also check out the description if you want to know stuff about me, or if you want to have links to my podcast, my Instagram, all that stuff. It is down there in the description. Just read it. I made it for you. I made it for you. That's it, guys. I really hope you like this kind of video. I love just sitting down and talking and just spilling all the information I can. All right, guys, peace, love, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.